questions was, how was our experience in comparison to with Elite 8 in comparison to other tax professional services? And I think I'll just kind of turn that over to my husband and what he would think.
Being from the military services, during the past, I would always use a online service throughout the military. And one thing I didn't like about it is not able to speak to someone live. And since I've been with Elite 8, having that person live in front of me has been great rewarding. If me and my wife had to recommend Elite 8 to a family or friend, one of the strong attributes would be competence. As a leader in the United States military, I've always been competent. And since my post-retirement, when I'm utilizing a business, I want to make sure they're competent in their answers and their tax preparation.
Get behind the shield.
This is Dr. Tamia Guest with Rejuvenating Chiropractic.
This is Nara Reed with Modified Nutrition Health Coach.
This is Karen Marcel with June Street Barbershop.
This is Tiffany Marcel with Marcel Luxury Realty, and you're listening to Boss Talk Radio.
Welcome to Boss Talk Radio, the #1 online business and entrepreneurial talk show. Brought to you by Elite 8 Tax and Financial Services.
Boss Talk Radio, keeping it real, yeah, that's for sure. I said a Boss Talk Radio, here for your needs, we'll crack the code. He the boss.
He gon' fix your situation like there ain't no time for wasting. We ain't playing when we saying
he the boss.
And if you ever have a problem, he gon' show you how to solve it. Listen in and he'll show you he the boss.
Talk
Here's your host, the sexy tax expert, George Dandridge.
Talk Radio, here for your needs, we'll crack the code. He the boss.
What's good, family? Welcome to another episode of Boss Talk Radio. Today we are talking about collaborative efforts and group economics. And there's an old saying that says, if you want to run far, you want to run fast, run alone. And if you want to run far, run with others. Today we have some experts in the taxation field. And the reason I'm having these particular guests on, they're all doing some phenomenal things in the tax and financial space. And rather than talk to you guys about philosophical, idealistic principles or whatever when it comes to working collegiately with others in your field, I thought I would show you guys, because every guest that we have on today works in my industry, and yet none of them are considered competition. These are my sisters, my brothers, my colleagues, my friends. We learn from each other. We share resources, we share information, and we all grow as a result of it. So without further ado, let me first bring on the founder of the Association of Black Tax Professionals, Miss Shonda Love. How are you doing today?
Great, George. Thanks for having me on.
Honored to have you on. You're doing some big things. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself. You have all the plaques and awards behind you. She's a superstar.
You're too funny. I am Shonda Love, founder of the Association of Black Tax Professionals. The group started and founded was in May of 2019. And so right now we're starting off, I think, with a couple of hundred members. Now we're over 3,000 and increasing. And so we built this platform primarily over to make sure that we stay connected in the tax industry, as we can all witness or even contest to this tax season. There were so many tax laws and new tax credits that we were inundated with, and we were like trying to figure out how to stay sane and continue to service our clients. And so that was the whole purpose of this association, to make sure that we can provide the resources, the information that is needed to be able to assist our tax clients each tax season. So overall, we're excited. We got some really great things rolling. We just launched out the directory, the first national tax and accounting directory that's nationwide. And so this will give taxpayers an opportunity to search and connect and look for a tax professional, CPA, tax attorney, whatever that need may be. We felt that there was a need, and we wanted to make sure that we brought something over to the table, George.
She is the enrolled agent tax expert, my sister from another mister. She teaches and has a passion for it. Welcome to the show, Miss Teszra Cody. How you doing today?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Great.
Doing phenomenal. Thank you for sharing your time with us today. Tell everybody a little bit about your background.
I don't know if I can make it better than what you said, but I'll give it a go. So hi, everyone. I'm Teszra, and as George mentioned, I am a tax instructor, a tax advisor, a tax professional. Pretty much everything taxes is my passion. I started my business approximately 10 or 11 years ago. I'm starting to lose track at this point. And I noticed as a tax professional that I had a niche for small businesses, and also that a lot of small businesses always had the same ongoing problem. So that's what led me to become, more of a tax advisor, and also a tax instructor, where I help people either learn how to prepare their own tax returns, or I train professionals how to prepare tax returns or prepare what's the word I'm looking for? More complicated tax returns.
Awesome. With more than 41 years in the game, you can call him the Godfather, or it'll still be the same if you call him Teddy the Taxman. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, George, I really, really do appreciate that, young man.
So give everybody a little bit about your background and what you've done. You've seen more law changes and more complexities in this industry than probably all of us on here combined. Tell everybody a little bit about your background.
Well, I signed my first legal tax return on February 28th, 1980. Been going along ever since. My practice has evolved now that, because it needed to. I primarily do a lot of retirements, folks setting up retirement plans for small businesses and things like that. So, into this for 41 years now. And if you'd like, you can follow me. I also give tax advice on the morning news here in Maryland, on Fox 45 Morning News. In addition to that, I'm on the nationally syndicated Jeff Fox radio show. I offer retirements and tax advice there too. And just a little fun thing on the side, in 2013, I was on the national game show Let's Ask America, had a ball, beat all the other contestants, and lost in the final round. And then in 2018, I was on Steve Harvey's Family Feud with my family, and we had a good old time. Didn't win anything, but we had a marvelous time.
Well, you were a winner because you were there, and you were there with your family. That's what winning looked like. So
there you go.
Backstage, before we got started, Teddy and I were kind of chopping it up, and we were talking about the concept of success and what that looks like. And well, guys, what I want you guys to do, if you look to your right, you'll see a private chat box. Go ahead and put your contact links and social media in there so I can put them up on the show later. So we were talking about success, and both agreed that this is a very lucid term that should be identified individually, if you would, for lack of better words. And talking about what we consider some of the measures of success was what I think is impressive. We have business owners here that have first defied the rule that you're going to go out of business in 5 years. So that's a major achievement in itself. But if you caught this in the background and got wind of this, what you heard was that not only are these people entrenched in this industry, for some reason, they have felt compelled to give back to the industry that gives so much to them by assisting new people coming into the industry and/or people who are in the industry that's sincere about it and looking to grow. So if you're just dropping in, go ahead and share the video. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we're going to talk today about collaborative efforts in group economics. So I want to start with Miss Shonda Love, because if she didn't do anything but run her business by most stretches of the imagination, by most measures of society, she would be considered successful. But you took on this project and deliberately went out and found like-minded people and labeled them ambassadors. And you have ambassadors across the country that has helped grow this group. I remember when I got the invite, I think they had 90-something people in the group. And I think I did a tax return and came back and it was like 1,000. I was like, what the hell did I miss over here? So talk about, if you would, what collaborative efforts has not only meant for you, but what type of mental challenges, if any, did you have to overcome to put yourself in, for lack of better words, a vulnerable space to really be able to work collegiately with others and hear those ideas and help implement those things for the growth of people that, let's be honest, doesn't directly benefit you?
Right. Great question, George. I think I hear it go. Good. Great question, George. Overall, I think when you and I said and we met, and talked and just, how you say back, for better words, just chopped it up. When I first started 10 years ago, I remember being in that space of, starting in the tech industry and just didn't really have anyone that I felt that I can connect with, that can help, that I can ask questions. When you tap into the tax industry, so many questions, the laws are changing every year. I didn't have that support. And so when I made a commitment and a vow to myself, then I felt that when I got to a certain point in my business, I wanted to make sure that I provide a space for us to be able to assist that next person that's coming on board, right? And so when we first started with the group, it was just a Facebook group, and then it grew because pretty much when people reached out and saw my vision in regards to being able to help and assist other tax professionals with resources, education, mentor, you name it, they was like, wow, okay, this is going somewhere. So I was like, okay, Shonda, as this begin to grow, I cannot handle all of these people by myself. I need a team, right? So I was just like, okay, so this is going to be nationwide, then why it makes sense to actually have someone in that particular region be the face and voice of Association of Black Tax Professionals. And so we have right now, I think 12 ambassadors. And so the goal is to have an ambassador in each state, so 50 ambassadors. So that's the goal. And to say that we've under 2 years, I think that within the next 5 years, under 5 years, we can actually see that happening. So yes, we're excited because this group is growing with people coming on board and, providing us with just feedback. Shonda, thank you and your ambassadors for creating this group. Oh my goodness, it helped me to stay in the tax game when I wanted to throw in the towel. We've all, felt that or being in that situation at one point of our time in the tax world. So it just feels good to be able to provide a need over from. And yes, again, sometimes it's not all about financial gain and what you can get from it, but just ultimately making sure that you're there to know that you're a voice, you providing support over for people in our industry that need services.
And I really identify with that part because when let me tell you guys, if you don't know, there's doing taxes and then there's the tax business, and that's two different hats you have to really wear, because there's tax law over here and there's business principles over here. And when I was trying to get into this space, I thought I had a pretty great foothold, because I had been looking at the what I thought was the business sides of it from the standpoint of a brick and mortar, probably 2 years prior to jumping all in. And I had a life circumstance that, put me where, okay, I'm not able to earn what I'm used to on a quote unquote job. So I decided to just go in head first. And there was just not a lot of guidance or even open arms to mentorship or whatever, despite my will to invest in myself. So when I heard Shonda's vision, it blew me away. And, I was talking to Teszra last week, which that conversation actually spawned this episode, because there was a post in Association of Black Tax Professionals, and she commented on it and offered help. But then she reached out to me to offer me, for lack of better words, an affiliate association for a project that she's taking on. And I'm like, hey, sis, yeah, no. I'll refer people to you all day. I don't need the compensation, because unbeknownst to her, which she didn't know, was that when I got started, there was another group that I used to see her in or whatever, and I gravitated to her every word. If she spoke on a resource, I'm Googling, I'm on irs.gov or whatever. At some point I felt comfortable being able to ask her questions, and she really was able to, not just able to, she was willing to, and that's the big difference. She was willing to provide me the roadmap, for lack of better words, yeah, this is where you want to go, or this is what you want to look into. Some of that difference may have been that I didn't just ask for the solution, I asked for where the information was or whatever. But she never hesitated to share any of her experiences and whatnot. So, Teszra, my question for you is, we have we're on Boss Talk Radio. I don't have to look for words for this. We have a lot of WYPIPO, white people, that come across as gatekeepers to this industry. And at any given time, you ask a question or something in different groups and you open yourself up to a barrage of condescending nonsense or whatever. How did you manage, especially as a Black woman, to securely find your space and your voice in that, and still be willing to be that open door to guide newer professionals?
Ooh, that is a loaded question, and the reason why it's loaded is because it's not only happening on social media, but it's happening in the face-to-face situations. For example, I help pro se people who have petitioned the tax court to resolve a problem. I help them resolve their matters with the IRS's counsel. And there are, very few of us in that atmosphere who are there to support and help taxpayers. And a lot of times we're working as a group. So it's a constant, you're constantly being viewed as you don't know what you're talking about, or you can't help, or you're inexperienced, or are you even licensed? Are you educated? It's a constant, a view. They have a constant perception of us like that. And so it has been difficult to be able to still push forward and stand your ground and still do it with grace. But it takes a strong mentality. It takes, I'm not going to stop. I love what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. And either you're going to be on my train coming with me, or you're going to get left behind. And a lot of them have been left behind. And then when they see, oh, wow, she's really, really good. That's when, okay, let's try to get on the train. But I'm already gone. It's too late. That ship has sailed. So it turns to be a learning experience for most. But for me, it's more of okay, you have to endure this. You have to just keep pressing forward. And knowing that I have a community of people who are there to support and understand what it's like has been very helpful as well, because it's not just me going through this alone, it's others, and we can all relate and we can support each other and say, you know what, stand strong and we got your back. And that helps. Just like what you said earlier, being there and being supportive of each other, it means a lot. And you might not be able to see it, but I was blushing. I was like, oh my goodness.
No, you've been a true asset to the industry, and I applaud you. In 10 years running your own business as a Black woman in America is no small feat at all. So kudos to you. I think this is the digital hand clap thing, whatever, but applause to you. And Teddy, you're just so seasoned, at this thing. When it comes to that community effort, I think that let me preface this with the word legitimate. I think that the legitimate tax professional is probably one of the most undervalued and unappreciated skill sets and talents in our community. What have you seen? What are some of the challenges you've seen in trying to get any sector of the community to rally around the talents of the tax professional in the way of being able to put forward some group effort, some group investment, group think, or whatever that would benefit the community immediately? And what I mean by that is, like, a lot of times, and we were talking about this backstage, we live in the culture of individuality. Everybody has this need to lead without necessarily having the qualifications, but everybody wants their ego fed or whatever. And I think that really kind of stifles being able to move forward as a group. What are some of your experiences with that, and how did you overcome it?
Hey, George, let me tell you something. The ladies have been open, so I'm going to be open as well. I had a negative experience. It was a long time ago. I was a computer operations support supervisor, and my boss said, "Hey, look, I'm going to be away for a week, so I'm going to appoint." And he chose another gentleman to run the show while he was gone. I didn't like that. But this gentleman was well qualified. I mean, if either one of us was well qualified, he was. I was probably qualified, but to a lesser degree. Do you believe that I really got upset? I really didn't want him to lead me. But it didn't hit me until years later that I really had the wrong mentality about that. I honestly did. I had the good relationships with the clients and everything like that. But then that gentleman was there longer than I was. He was more in tune with the overall system. And so that's so I regret it, but I was young. I was young at the time. I have grown since, and so you are right. The way I'm looking at this is that somebody has to lead. Everybody can't lead. Everybody isn't even qualified to lead. And so that's my mentality now. And one thing Tez said, and that was, oh no, wait a minute. You said this, George. You talked about being in other groups and asking a question and hearing these and watching these condescending remarks. Let me tell you something. I started the Tax Professionals of America Facebook group. We have about, 1,900 members of all backgrounds. Okay, all backgrounds. And the primary reason why I started that was because of the lack of mentorship. I wrote a book. It's called Step Away from the Porcelain. I don't want to talk about that right now. But in the book, I said one of my top regrets was not having a mentor. So that's why I started the Tax Professionals of America group. Okay, so now let me connect that with what Tez was saying. What you were saying, George. You get out there and you ask a question and somebody, makes a condescending remark about you. Let me tell you something. I'm in the driver's seat in the Tax Professionals of America. And when folk make those condescending remarks, and I'm just going to be open with you. I'm going to be completely open. Every time it's been a person who was non-African American. Every time. And so you know what I've done so far? I've kicked 3 of them out of the group. Yes, I have, because I run the show, right? I run the show. We need to be in positions that we can run the show. And the reason why I had to kick those people out was because they were making condescending remarks. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. I've been in practice 41 years and I don't know the entire revenue code, Internal Revenue Service code. So I know many of you don't. And really, that's not even the point. The point is somebody asked a basic question. Why did they ask it? Because they don't know the answer. And so you came out with a smart remark. And I even said non-personal stuff like, look, and you can say what you want, but this sometimes is what you have to do. I've said non-professional stuff like, look, I'm not going to tolerate that, period. I'm not going to tolerate it. The next time I hear from you, you're getting kicked out of the group. So all 3 of you might say, well, that's not very, very professional. But let me tell you something. You got to go to people where they live. I'm closing.
Yes, I agree.
Well, I think everybody will attest that I'm captain at your throat. I don't speak on many things directly, but there has been times that I've been in this group, and that one and other ones, and if you attack, or I feel to believe you've attacked somebody that's in my circle, that has ever lent any time or whatever to me, your professional doesn't exist at that moment. I go for your head, just verbal assassination. And I sit there like, okay, I got time for this today. Let's get it. So when it's all said and done, you either want to kill yourself or kill me, but you got to take it off of whoever you win at, So, the next part I want to talk about is when it comes to group economics. This is a place that we just don't do well at. Culturally, we have a trust issue, and I always laugh about that because I'll see us group and crowdfund subconsciously almost anything that anybody else is doing. Yet when it comes to us, we want to micromanage the pennies, about where somebody spent something at. And I've seen this from as elementary as class or family reunions up to, people going into a business venture. Money tends to tear at the decency of folks, even in their communication or whatever. Going backwards, we'll go back to Teddy. What's an example of something that you were able to successfully participate in or orchestrate a group effort with people of color that involved them having to come out of pocket to get it done?
Yeah. Hey, George, let me tell you, I am chairman of the board of the Historical Black Tax Professionals Association. We're trying to do some things collaboratively, within the group collaboratively, if you understand what I'm saying. We're trying to do some things that's going to help each and every one of us grow. We don't want that mentality of I guess you heard the term, the crabs and the barrel mentality. Trying to break those chains, man, because that's what they are. Those are chains, and we've got to learn to help each other. And so our inaugural conference, we plan to have in August of next year. Guess where? In Tulsa, Oklahoma, the home of Black Wall Street. Man, I'm getting chills right now talking about that. And I'll tell you, I've got some good things, or we've got some good things planned. George, you're going to be a part of that, whether you like it or not. I've got a dynamic other person on the board. And not to say that I'm dynamic, but there's a person on the board who's very dynamic. Her name is Aisha Love, and she is working very, very hard to put this thing together. And I'm telling you, man, we are really looking forward to this. Again, we're going to have more information a little bit later on as things develop. But folks, just trust us. Look forward to this. This is going to be the beginning of breaking those chains that you just referenced.
Now, Teddy, I wouldn't be George if I didn't, dip in my petty at least one time or whatever. So I'm going to tell a little bit of background story that most people probably don't want me to share. But we were talking earlier about this need to lead or whatever. And what was funny about this is that I'm a part of the Historical Black Professionals Association. When I got the call, when I got the invite, I was like, say less, what you mean? And they were like, well, we want you to run. Well, you just have to lead. That's not what I do. I don't play well with others. I have very strong opinions and very weak tact resources. So somebody else needs to lead. You just let me know what else needs to be done. I'll be a voice over here. I'll play security, whatever else you want me to do. But I'm not going to do the leadership thing as it relates to interacting with others. Behind the scene, I can sit in on the meeting and give ideas and, help plan the execution, but I'm not rallying the troops. That's not what George does. Yeah. What was interesting, and she doesn't know this yet, is that while I was hearing that, I was like, Shonda has to be a part of this because she absolutely has this magnetic person. Like, I don't know, like some of y'all have actually met Shonda or whatever. For those of you who've only seen her online, let me tell you that it takes away from this. If she walks in the room and she radiates like, people, who that is? You just want to be around her. And what you got to say? So she has that ability to pull people. And so the minute that I heard about this, I didn't even tell Aisha and the others. I was just like, yeah, okay. Because I saw it some time ago and I didn't know how it would all come together. So the reality is that this has been something that has been brewing and under discussion for a few years now. And we've had different people try to pick up the, mantle and run with this or whatever. And one of the things I think is, how can I put this stupid, is that we allow something as foolish as personality differences interfere with the success. And I approach everything in life with one concept. What's the objective? Okay, so I don't like your take on whatever the hell we're talking about. If that has nothing to do with this objective, the hell with that. Let's, move forward. And so, I know firsthand that when this particular call to action was taken up, it was met with unnecessary resistance, that was based on something as foolish as political choices. And I'm like, how can we ask for equity inclusion and not model the behavior? That's another conversation for another day. But just heads up, Shonda, at some point, somebody other than myself will be reaching out to you for that whole, member collaborative thing or whatever, because of that energy.
Okay.
Thank you, George.
And that's why this was like, such a big deal, like, because I was talking to people, it's like I'm talking to Teddy and Aisha. I'm talking to Shonda, and I see what she was doing with the directory. And so when Teszra reached out to me about the school, I'm like, there's many of us that speak and teach and offer different classes or whatever, but she's getting into the technical high level returns are like the saying was last year, where the money resides, Teszra, tell us a little bit about your school and your program, because I don't think there's a week of my life that I don't get at least 3 inboxes asking me about where to start in this industry or what they should do.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. So my school is like no other. I've done tons of research to figure out how can I make this beneficial, and a place where students walk in as new tax preparers, or maybe even preparers with experience, but they come out with a strong foundation, knowing how to prepare returns. Because one of the things that I've noticed is that when there's classes that people take, whether at a college or, on off like a private location, or even with a company like H&R Block, not to name drop, but a lot of times they come out and they still need a lot of support because there's missing pieces that weren't given to them. And then usually people are saying, well, if you really want to know how to do taxes, get a job. And then they'll name one of those companies to say, get a job with those companies. But what they're not realizing is that these companies are only giving you the basic stuff. You're not getting the behind the scene things. You're not learning all the schedules the way you should be learning them, and you're still crippled. Mm-hmm. So I designed this school to have you come in, new, and then leave out with all of this knowledge and all these resources to help you prepare tax returns effectively. So this school, I offer 2 different types of classes right now. The first class, the one I really want to talk about, is for people who want to become an enrolled agent. So I became an enrolled agent about 6 years ago, and I never thought that I would be teaching it. And here I am now teaching it, and I absolutely love it. So it's for people who have no experience, but I do recommend, like 1 to 2 years of at least reading or studying. However, if you come in with no experience, just let me know and I can, give more support. But in the school, we go over they receive over 100 CE credits. They are learning.
Hold on. We're not going to just blow by that like that.
No.
Significant. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me clue the audience in a little bit on what that just means. He said 100 CE credits. I'm going to break this down for y'all that don't know. See, there's people that do taxes, and then there's tax professionals. And us tax professionals will tell you, like, y'all be like, why you charge so much? If y'all understood how much money we spend on continuing education alone before we turn on the lights or anything else, and us enrolled agents have a 72-hour per cycle requirement for CE. Just so happen, most of us are so entrenched in what we do, we probably average 50 to 60 a year anyway.
Yep.
But that aside, this is what I want to drive home to you guys. It is other institutions and companies that get all of this money from us oftentimes for these CE credits or whatever. This young lady has put herself in position to be credentialed to offer. See, y'all don't understand.
Nope.
When you talk about there's not a lot of black tax attorneys, not a lot of black enrolled agents, let me tell you something. Those can be divided probably by the hundreds for the number of us that offer CE credit. I don't offer CE credits.
I don't either.
So I need y'all to, and some of the people that do, they're able to offer you anywhere from 15 to 18 hours at maybe an AFSP level. I think she said 100. As the young people call it a buck. We'll keep it a buck. No, I'm sorry to cut you off. That kind of got me excited over there.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that I notice people need. It's very critical for what we do, like you mentioned, So yeah, definitely over 100, as a matter of fact, CE credits. Then next on the list is, the school provides the books and the portal and the resources. Because one of the things that I've noticed also with other schools is that it may be live and they don't have access to their pre-recordings, or it's not live and they just watch a recording. So I like to offer both so that people can speak to me live and rewatch the video.
Wow.
On top of that, we learn basic S-Corp tax return preparation. We learn partnership return preparation. We go over gift tax and estate tax returns as well. So they're learning these returns in this class. Now, they're not going to know the complicated S-Corp returns, but they will know the basic beginner S-Corp returns, because that's something a lot of people in our industry have been struggling with or unsure of or just afraid of. So by being able to provide this in the class has been beneficial. Another thing is that the class is also focused on becoming an enrolled agent. So I'm teaching them the rules and the tax law and how to prepare and take the exam. We take 2 breaks. The first break is where they're going to take EA exam 1 or the SEE 1. And the second break is for them to take the SEE 2. But if they were to not pass one of these exams, they get to take the entire class again when it relaunches for free. Because the goal is to have more of us as enrolled agents or licensed tax professionals. So I'm offering them, okay, come back in and retake it again for free. However, for those who do pass, they actually will be able to now have a class that's going to teach them how to be an enrolled agent. Because one of the things that isn't often talked about, like you're studying for the test, you take the test, but then when you become one and you want to help your clients to represent them, you don't know how to fill out a 2848, which is the power of attorney form. You don't know how to deal with collections. Some people don't know what phone number to call in order to get through to the department that you need to get through, or how to read the letters or write a letter. So the class after the class is going to go over those steps to help people get a start. And there's other things like, Teddy was speaking about mentors and his group. And that is so critical because you come into this industry and oftentimes you feel alone. So one of the things that my school offers is a mentor with your first client after you pass all 3 SEE exams and become an enrolled agent. So that's the first one, the EA class.
If you are a tax professional and you are tuned in, I will tell you that continuing education is an absolute must in this industry. You have to make that investment in yourself. You might as well make it with us. tax.buildyour.biz/TCU, and you can subscribe to Teszra's classes. And excuse me, Shonda, there was this, and I'll be the first to admit I was very, very critical of the state of America last year following the George Floyd incident. I was telling people, this would not have this level of outrage if people didn't need an excuse to get out of the house. I didn't feel like all the protests and everything was genuine. And to this day, I still feel like many of this just attempted to capitalize on Black empathy, if you would. But out of that, there seemed to have been a culture to develop of consciously either buying Black or making investments in Black business. Your directory is one that I don't think I've seen anything like this for our industry by anyone. Like, there's NAED directories, but you have set up this force that allows people to be highly, like, if you are interested in really spending your money with Black people, and let's be honest, if you breathe, you need a tax return done. I mean, it's just that simple. Like, everybody's our customers, So some people still believe in proximity shopping and whatnot, and that has its place. But you set something out there that allows people, wherever they are in the United States of America, to be able to find a Black tax professional across different niches and across different certifications. Where did this vision come from?
It's so funny you say that, George. You first started off in regards to the whole vision as it relates to the directory regarding George Floyd. As you all know, in the group, I have ambassadors. They are the face and the voice of the Association of Black Tax Professionals. So I, the founder, I tell you about it, I'm always back in the trenches. I'm one that's very observant. I'm looking, seeing what's going on, what's taking place, and what's the need of the group. So after the death of George Floyd, there was a great increase of groups that was created. Black-owned, support Black-owned restaurants, support Black-owned business. It was like everywhere. And so I sat back and I watched and observed, and I was just like, wow, it was like, we're going to start spending money with our people, right? We're tired of them taking, and I don't even want to go into that and talk about the politics on that. But I was just like, okay, so then we began to have a big amount of, I would say more so people that was requesting to be a part of the association group, not because they were tax professionals or because they're in the tax industry. Their request was like, hey, I'm not a tax professional or anything. I want to be a part of your group because I need to find a CPA in New York, a Black CPA in New York. Do you have anyone you could recommend? We got a large amount of inbox emails and you name it. And so as the founder, I want to make sure that we're always positioning ourselves to meet the needs of not only the members, but also to the client and the people. And so that's what compelled me to move forward to create a directory. So therefore our people no longer be looking and searching for, hey, who do you recommend that's, a Black tax professional, a Black CPA, a Black tax attorney. You guys, we all can contest to it. During tax season, what we see on the news feed. Who do you recommend to do your taxes? And everybody goes in, right? And typically it's one of our people, right? So I was like, you know what? There's a need. And then also too, we saw a lot of posts this year for people saying, okay, for those TurboTax users who want to try to try to do your taxes, who have filed your taxes on your own previously, this is not the year that you want to do that. You need to connect with the tax professional. So the thing was like, okay, well, who do I go to? So it was like, who are you going to? So I just see so many people posting, who are you using? Where do I go to? I was like, okay, there's this need. So it's time for us to meet the need to the people. And so with that being said, we wanted to make sure that this directory serves so many purposes, where yes, taxpayers are in need of CPAs, enrolled agents, they have a directory to use, but also too, on the flip side of that, you and I both know when we have people that come in the tax industry who just not started, or maybe their their clientele have decreased. We always lose 1/3 of our clientele every year. They're looking like, okay, what other way can I actually market or get my name out there? What other platform? And so especially when people are coming to the tax industry or doing taxes, they're like, okay, I've taken this course, but now, where are the clients at? And how do I get clients in? All of that. And a lot of times we leave out the whole marketing piece of it. So I wanted to make sure that when you're building value and building a level of trust with that individual, a lot of times, you're guilty by association, right? You want to be affiliated with something where people can look to say that you have some credentials. You want people to entrust you with their information, which have no type of credentials or anything to really display that, to want to actually allow people to build that level of trust to place their personal business or information in your hands. So this is also a way for us to, tap into that market to say, hey, yeah, I'm a part of this association. For one, we do a thorough background. We don't just allow people to create listings and you post it. It's some research. We want to make sure you have a website. We make sure that, that you're legitimate, that you're a business. All that. So it's just not, I'm on the directory. No, we stand behind
I tried not to laugh.
Oh goodness, Ted. Yeah. So overall, that this directory is going to really be able to serve so many purposes. Of course, we just launched it on yesterday, and people are inquiring about it, and it's a great opportunity to be able to see something on this level. I can honestly say that when you are make moves or just move out on faith and don't even know how it's going to end up. You just trust the process. And that's what we're actually doing right now. So we see that people are excited. They want to be a part of it. They want to make sure that they're on this directory so they can meet the needs of our people. Number one thing, our people are looking and needing us. So my slogan now for this directory is get online and get found, get on the directory. And so that's the great thing about it. When they're looking for working, because sometimes they don't know. And the great thing about it is that a lot of us provide service remotely. So you can service someone, in California or New York, or, as long as you have those credentials, I know for certain states, you got to have certain things in order to be able to assist those. But long as you have those things in place, you can service anyone up in the United States. So that's the great thing about it. You have those attorneys and those doctors and dentists. Well, a lot of times they have to service people in their area, in their market. With us, we don't have, we're just not limited to just our backyard. We can service anywhere in the United States. So we're excited, George.
And if I want to drop this on there, somebody's out there listening to this, and COVID changed your world, and you're now looking at this decision about, do you get back into the corporate rat race or do you do something else? And if so, what? And I will tell you that, first of all, you're going to have to bookmark this episode because you don't know, because you never know history when it's actually happening. But this episode is going to be a historical bookmark to so many great things to come. We're going to be like, remember back there when we did that episode? But Teddy, this is like, that was a display of Shonda's receipts as to why I said she's going to be a part of this, whether she knows it or not. Because,
or whether she likes it or not.
Right, because just hearing her talk about that, I got overwhelmed and tired. Like, I want a nap. Like, I feel like I've worked too hard all of a sudden. And she keeps this same energy and keeps it coming. Like, I ain't got time to deal with people like that. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And, shout out to your team. Man, it's an amazing labor of love that you guys are doing.
No pun intended. No pun intended.
Right. Like, not just for the industry, but for the community as a whole. My hat's off to you guys. Go to blacktaxprofessionals.com if you're looking to be a part of the association. You can also go to facebook.com/group/blacktaxpros. So we've talked about some collaborative efforts. We've talked about some of the challenges with group economics, some of the success stories. Teddy touched on this, but he didn't go deep enough, so I'm going to throw him this shovel about this, because I let him slide when he kind of touched on it. But for those of you who have been around the tax industry for any significant period of time, you know that there are various conferences. There's IRS conferences, there's NTPI conferences, there's NAEA, NATP, so forth, so on. Different conferences all over the country, usually after tax season, between the summer and the fall. A lot of CEs on these different conferences, which is why a lot of us go. Teszra doesn't know this, but she's going to be teaching at this convention. But we'll tap her for that later. But I want you guys to marinate on this for a second. If you're tuning in, if you're just joining, share the video. But I want you to marinate on the power of what's emerging. Like, I had to kind of like coach Teddy to talk about this, because he's like, well, it ain't really put together yet, but hey, I'll come in and drop it, Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm gonna let you just feel that in your soul for a minute.
Right. I
For
know.
I'd say last 12 years, about every 3 months, there's a new social media group that pops up that says New Black Wall Street. There's probably 200 of them on Facebook right now. And the reason there's so many is because, back to that other premise where everybody has this need to lead and people want to, feed their egos or whatever to say, I did this or whatever, when in reality, this should be a collaboration. But what I find that always comes up in these groups is the question, when everybody finishes complaining about what has happened, the question always eventually emerges where, what is the solution? And I don't think there could be a better solution than what you guys have come up with for this convention, because in order to really understand the power of this, first you have to realize the power of the Black tax professional in the Black community. I mean, many of us have to seek other ways to eat and seek clients that are not us, because our value isn't even appreciated, but imagine, if you would, hundreds of Black tax financial from credit to financial planning to retirement to taxation, all of these things revolve around each other. Imagine hundreds of Black professionals converging on the place that was burned down in an attempt to stop us. This nucleus of people, or the center of gravity, if you would, that has the power to change Black America when and if Black America starts to choose to listen, or whatever. But we can come away from that with so much power and information and a unification. Like I was talking to Aisha, and we were talking about the pressure that an organization like that can put on software developers, and even on the IRS. This is a force that can be a political lobbying force. Y'all don't hear me though. Hey, how you gonna manage this great challenge, Doctor? You're the man at the helm.
Here's the thing. The solution is finding solutions. How you like that? How do you like that? This is going to be an ongoing process, and we're going to put this on the board's shoulders to lead and guide, get in the talent. You just talked about Tez being there and teaching. Okay, that's one down. we still have a few more to go, but that's what it is. The solution is finding the solutions. And we're going to offer these solutions to folk who look just like me. Many of them look better than me, but you know where I'm going with that, right? That's what the solution is. And I think just being there, George, honestly, I'm not that we're going to settle for just this, but just being there is going to be a major step in all of our professional, if not personal lives. That's where I'm going with this.
Dude, I'm telling you, like the concept in and of itself brings chills to my spine. I know I would like to say on Friday, I'm gonna cry in the car. I know when this happens, I'm gonna have my take a step back and take it all in moment. And y'all gonna have to grant me some grace at that moment, because I might be rendered speechless.
I might not be able to help you, sir. I'm telling you, I might be in that same position, George.
But and shout out, she's not on here. I didn't have an opportunity to connect with her, but shout out to Nayo Carter, because she has this program where, and I mean, she's being recognized by some very major organizations, including companies like Intuit, for her program to automate your business and digitize your business, bringing it to the digital space. She doesn't know this yet, and she'll probably put up some resistance at first, but between me and Tez, we will work on her because we want her to deliver that message at this conference as well. It's just so much potential in this, and now's the time to do the work. And I'm glad to see so many of you, giving of yourself to put in the work or whatever. I'm here to support any way I can. I'm just not the one to galvanize people. I don't orchestrate people. That's not my ministry. So, last words before we get out of here, Teddy. What did you want to leave everybody with? I have to put your information up here too. I didn't do that. Where does it go?
I look forward.
There we go.
I look forward to all that we have going on in the future. And if there are other tax professionals under the sound of my voice, please get in contact with me so that I can offer some of the information that I have not yet had a chance to offer. And remember, this thing is just growing. It is just beginning. And so I don't have all the details yet, but I can promise you we're not going to do anything halfway.
We're still under, like, this has just become a sound plan and forming of the board within literally like in the last 2 weeks. When I say this is new,
yes, sir.
Like, we're still getting these planning conversations underway. So yeah, please stay connected and reach out. Teszra, what you got for us? We don't have your sound on. Let's see, is it muted from here?
Yep, I was muted.
There you go.
Yeah, just to give some parting words to those who are interested in becoming a tax professional or those already established as tax professionals. The importance of CE credits and the importance of keeping yourself on top of things and expanding your knowledge. If you're not licensed, don't be afraid to get licensed. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or if you need any guidance or if you're interested in this course that I'm offering, I'm offering 2 different courses, but, feel free to reach out because you are not alone in this industry. And it may feel like you're alone or you may have no one to turn to when you have questions or when you need help. But we are solid. We're standing by each other and we're here to support each other.
Shonda, I know you don't like when I do this, but the queen of Black tax professionals. Talk to us.
Oh, goodness, George. So, Black tax professionals, if you are in the tax industry and looking to join and connect and collaborate with a group of tax professionals, go to facebook.com/group/Black Tax Pros and join a group that consists of myself, ambassadors, and members who definitely want to see you succeed both personally and professionally. And lastly, if you are a tax professional, enrolled agent, CPA, tax attorney, tax debt resolutionist, and looking to get some online visibility, in a position to increase your clientele, get online and get found. Go to www.blacktaxprofessionals.com and create your listing. You can get a free listing, a paid listing, or feature listing. Just all depends on, where you want to be listed and, the visibility on this particular directory as well. So that's all I have, George.
I want to thank everybody for lending your time and also being a demonstration to the culture for what working collegiately looks like. The saying is collaboration beats competition. And I believe that wholeheartedly. We get so much more done when people are choosing to work together and people are able to identify their own strengths and put egos aside and whatnot. It's funny because Teddy's been kind of forced at the helm of this thing. He didn't just, it's like, yeah, I want to be the chair. He's like, yeah, no, this is, but we understood that, hey, here's a man with the national ear that is tenured in the game. He's seeing things we're just not going to see. And while he's learning and seeing things as we see them, such as a pandemic, the reality is that he has a level of exposure and a level of wisdom that's come with aging in this business that he's qualified to sit at the helm, to take in all of this vision and this power and say, this is how we're distributing it back out. We love you for that. We look forward to being able to support and work with you guys on that. So whatever industry you guys may be in, I challenge you. This is my 2021 mid-year challenge to you, regardless of your industry. Find like-minded people committed to success and find a way to work together to go further. Learn how to pool your resources. Stop trying to go at it alone just to be able to turn around and say, I did that. It's a whole lot much more fun to say we did that. And you can do that faster. This has been Boss Talk Radio. We will see you guys on Monday for Monday Morning Motivation. Talk to you soon.